These poor kittens are begging for the help from these strangers, and the reason behind it will surely give one a goosebumps. Some good humans were petting the street cats with delicious food. That's when they noticed a strange sight. But it was about to get even stranger. 3 tiny kittens were sprinting after a couple in the park, glued to their heels as if begging for something. Seeing this, a man reached out, and upon reaching them, got to know what pertained to be the hardest moment for these kittens. What could be so hard for these tiny creatures? They asked the couple if they knew these kittens, and they said no. They also shared that these kittens were coming behind them from the southern gate of the park. The eyes of the kittens clearly showed distress, indicating that there might be more kittens behind, and they needed to reunite the family. But how would they find them? Now, after saying bye to the couple, it was time to find the missing family of these kittens. As these kittens had been following the couple from the southern gate, it would be wise to find another member of their family there. But that won't be easier. The distance to the gate was quite long, as this park they were in was huge. After half an hour, when the men were about to reach the gate, another surprise was waiting for them. They noticed one more kitten from the same litter. The boys told them that this poor soul had been walking worriedly since they arrived. Well, his presence there was a positive sign that the whole kitten family would be found soon. Where they were thinking positively, there came news that turned everything upside down. The boys further told the men that they saw an injured white cat nearby, struggling for its life and unable to walk properly. What was more heart-wrenching was that no one was ready to help the dying cat. Would this poor cat survive? Just as the men got to know the location from the boys, they rushed to that corner of the park, and their eyes saw something that broke their heart. Don't know if this poor cat will be able to survive. Just as the men got to know the location from the boys, they rushed to that corner of the park, and their eyes saw something that broke their heart. But what was it that caused such despair? It was the white cat, all dirty, bruised, and wounded. They couldn't believe that someone could be so cruel to abandon an innocent animal like this. But the cruelty didn't end there. This poor cat had a severe flu, making his eyes watery, and his paw was injured badly too. How much more could this poor creature endure? All in all, this cat was in a bad shape and needed immediate medical attention. And the most shocking part is yet to be revealed. Seems like this male cat could be the dad of the kittens, as his colour perfectly matches with the litter. And for sure those kittens were roaming for help all around the park. Seeing his empty eyes, the men offered him a creamy treat, and shockingly, he denied it, although he seemed quite hungry. Why would he refuse food? Of course, the poor soul was bearing too much, and these humans were his last hope. After the treat, they offered him water, and shockingly, he drank it for minutes. His thirsty soul was not able to resist the temptation. Could this be a turning point? Now, with new hope, the men offered him the meal again, at least so he could get the energy it takes to be treated. But he did exactly the opposite again. He denied the food again. The men even tried feeding him forcefully, but after all the tries, they were forced to stop, seeing he had even lost full interest in eating or drinking anything. His condition clearly demanded urgent vet care, and he was sent to the nearby clinic. Would he make it in time? While he was being taken care of by vets, on the other hand, another man started to find the mother of the kittens. And while searching, they found another shock. To their surprise, in their search for the mama cat, they found another kitten from the same litter sleeping all alone in a corner. But the way he was laying cold there, he didn't seem to be sleeping. Upon checking, what they found just stopped their heartbeat. The kitten was not sleeping. Instead, his breaths were fainting. He was struggling for his life. They tried giving him water drop by drop, but his jaw was nearly locked, making it extremely difficult to revive him. Hence, he was also hurried to the clinic. Now, man can't ignore the fact there might be more kittens, and he started to see under the dense vegetation out there to check for any kitten or even mama cat there. Unfortunately, they're about to get relief, Surprisingly, around the dense vegetation, they found a mama cat. It was a relief for them seeing the mama cat roaming around there. But what was her condition? As they went near her, they saw the poor mama cat eating grass out of hunger. Could this be a sign of neglect? After petting her, they offered her a treat that she ate with such an aggressive manner, as if someone would run away with the treat. Was she this desperate for food? After the treat, the mama cat started trusting these good humans. Had she finally found allies? As the kittens had been away from their mama for quite a long time, they gathered them together with their mama cat. Would this be the happy ending they all needed? Then she ate the meal and drank water wholeheartedly while her 4 babies were gathered around her. Had they finally found peace? This family, along with medical students, came here daily to feed these cats. And their revelation gave this story a different angle. With further investigation, they found out the reason behind the male cat's injury. They mentioned a fight between an aggressive cat and the white male cat, who got badly bitten on his paw a week ago. They also confirmed that he was the dad of those kittens, as he was saving them from any sort of harm from the aggressive cat out of fatherly love. Was this the ultimate sacrifice? Well, after feeding herself, the mother cat turned to her kittens, and while grooming them, she started to feed them all. A heart-warming sight indeed. After they had calmly filled their stomachs, it was time to rescue them. They were carried in a carrier, and their journey to their new shelter just started. Meanwhile, in the hospital, the kitten was immediately provided with oxygen to ease his breathing. His blood sugar level was at its lowest too due to hunger. Would he be able to recover? Before they could offer him any possible medication, the first priority was controlling the body temperature of the pure soul to save his life. With the heating pad, once his temperature was normalized, he was given the preferred medications, and after noticing all his vitals were perfectly fine, he was discharged. On the other hand, the dad cat's paw was being treated regularly too. In spite of his condition, would he be reunited with his family? He was given good care, and the possibility was he'd be healthy soon. And once he was, he'd be united with his family, and they'd live happily in their new home. A happy ending after all. However, not all kittens get such a happy ending. Some lives are impossible to be rescued. Just like this next poor kitten who'd been abandoned amidst construction site chaos. What's going to happen next is enough to break your heart. This construction worker was doing his work when his sight caught unbelievable activity. What could he have possibly seen? He saw this tiny kitten stranded, freezing, and hungry in between the cement blocks, with constant noises of machinery around it. Was this the end for this tiny creature? The worker was a kind-hearted man and loved kittens. Would his compassion be enough to save this kitten? His concern about her well-being took him to the rescue team. When the rescue team arrived, they saw a kitten so innocently and fearfully roaming on the bricks. They thought there might be her mother along with this poor soul too. However, what they found was all opposite. There was no sign of her mother. The workers, along with the rescue team, tried their hardest to find her. They were unsuccessful. She was all alone, and she was probably lost in this loud and chaotic environment. Would she ever find her way out? Despite the odds stacked against her, this little kitten never gave up. Could her determination change her fate? She continued to meow and move around, determined to survive. But for how long? Well, seeing her condition, the rescuer took her to her new home, where she'd be nourished with the love and care she deserves. What these rescuers didn't know about was this kitten's reaction to other mama cats. And that was not so unexpected, but quite touchy at the same time. Indeed, nothing can be compared to a mother's love. Would she ever experience the warmth of a mother's embrace again completely? Well, seeing this cat named Jasmine, this lil bud misunderstood her as the mama cat. And what this cat did in return to him was heartbreaking. Despite being abandoned and left to fend for herself, the little kitten never gave up. Her determination was evident as she continued to meow and move around, refusing to succumb to her fate, until she got the real warmth of a mother. When this other cat saw this little soul, she fell in love with her. She accepted her as her own child, and even fed her milk. For a moment, the little kitten must have felt like she was in heaven, and from that day on, they became inseparable. At least that poor soul got the warmth she deserved, but there are some cats that have faced such cruelty that they never recover from it. Just like this other cat we discussed in the other video. Big thanks to the owners of the footage. Check out the description if you want to support them. Now check out this video, where these kittens were in a very bad situation.